week we're going to look at a new story. And before we do that, let's look at our poster. This is our last module, last week of this module, Module 5. So let's come here. Let's go back up to the top to look at our poster. Here it is. All right, this week we're going to talk about setting goals. Okay, setting goals. Mini goals and steps and celebrating success. So think about that as we read the story and we do a couple things this week. All right, so our story today is called Emmanuel's Dream. Who remembers what the author does?
Write the word.
Writes the words. Yes, and then who remembers what the illustrator does?
Draw pictures.
Draws pictures. Okay, so the author is Lori Ann Thompson. She loves two things. She loved two things as a child. She loved books and she loved animals. Very cool. And as an adult, she still does, and she writes books to help kids understand and appreciate the world. And then our illustrator, Sean Qualls, illustrated books by many famous authors. So here's our story called Emmanuel's Dream. As we look at the story, the cover, think about what you think it's going to be about. Okay, so right now, just by looking at the cover, anybody predict what it's going to be about?
About Andy riding his bike.
Okay, riding his bike. Do you think that's Emmanuel? Emmanuel's Dream is the title. This is a true story of Emmanuel Ofasu Yeboah. I'll see if I say that right. A true story means it really happened. Okay, so this is true. It's not a made-up story that we've been reading before. It's a true story. It's a biography. Okay? A biography is going to tell about his life. And when it tells about his life, it tells about the events most likely in order. A biography tells all about him. So let's listen.
Emmanuel's Dream, the true story of Emmanuel Ofosu Yeboah. Lori Ann Thompson and Sean Qualls.
That was the author and illustrator. I'm going to turn that just a little bit. Here's our title page, telling the title again. And here we go.
In Ghana, West Africa, a baby boy was born. 2 bright eyes blinked in the light. 2 healthy lungs let out a powerful cry. 2 tiny fists opened and closed, but only 1 strong leg kicked.
So look,
He
he was only born with what?
one leg.
1 leg. So when he was born, he had, like they said, the 2 eyes, arms, everything, but he was only born with 1 leg.
That's scary. Well, some people are born with 1 leg and 1 arm.
All right, we're going to listen to the story and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. So let's listen.
Most people thought he would be useless, or worse, a curse. His father left, never to return. But his mother had faith. Her name was Comfort, and she named her first child Emmanuel, meaning God is with us.
All right, so his name is Emmanuel, which means God is with us, and her name was Comfort. And she's a very kind person, so we're going to listen to what happens in the story next.
As Emmanuel grew, Mama Comfort told him he could have anything, but he would have to get it for himself. He learned to crawl and hop, to fetch water and climb coconut trees. He even shined shoes to earn money.
Okay, so his mom said he can do anything, but he had to do it for himself. Even though he didn't have a leg, he could still do things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she always encouraged him, and he still did all the things that other people were doing.
Most kids with disabilities couldn't go to school. Still, Emmanuel's mother carried him there until one day she said, "You are too heavy." From then on, Emmanuel hopped to school and back, 2 miles each way, on one leg by himself.
He probably takes a break on trees.
Okay, so one of the words we just heard was disability. This is one of our vocab words. Disability. If you have a disability, you have something special about you that makes it hard to do certain things. So, for example, his friend has a disability, so he uses a wheelchair to move around the school. So his maybe legs don't work. In the story, they said most kids with disabilities couldn't go to school, but that did not stop Emmanuel. And it doesn't stop kids today either. Emmanuel's mother carried him there until she said he was too heavy. And then he hopped to school by himself.
2 miles.
Yeah.
He probably took breaks on trees.
2 miles each way on one leg. Wow. And remember, this is a true story.
At first, nobody would play with him. So Emmanuel saved his money and bought something none of his classmates had, a brand new soccer ball. Of course he would share it, if he could play too. Lunging and spinning on crutches his grandmother had found for him, and kicking the ball with his good left foot, Emmanuel earned their respect.
Should they have been mean to him in the first place, though? No, even though someone might be born without a leg or have some other disability, they're still a person. God made them special, right? Just the way they are. Look at all the things he's doing. Doesn't stop them. But they weren't being very nice, and Emmanuel figured out a way. He said, hey, if I play soccer with them, they have to play with me. So he did what he had to do. He was able to earn their respect, or kind of show them that not having a leg didn't mean anything was wrong with him. He could still do everything. So that's what he showed them by playing soccer with them.
His new friends sometimes used their lunch money to rent bikes. Would Emmanuel be able to join them? His friend Godwin pushed him fast so he could balance. Over and over again, Emmanuel fell hard, but finally he rode.
All right, so he kept trying and trying and trying until he could do it. He didn't give up. He never gave up.
When Emmanuel was 13, Mama Comfort got very sick. She could no longer sell vegetables at the market, and Emmanuel's sister and brother were too little to work. He would have to support them. Against his mother's wishes, Emmanuel snuck out and boarded a midnight train to the bustling city of Accra, 150 miles away, alone. He didn't know it then, but it would be 2 years before he saw his family again.
Yeah, that would be too hard for me.
That'd be
so
hard.
easy for
But he wanted to help his mom. So
Me
let's
too.
Let's find out what happened.
Emmanuel arrived full of hope. There were so many people, but no one would hire him. Shopkeepers and restaurant owners told him to go out and beg like other disabled people did. Emmanuel refused. Finally, a food stand owner offered him a job and a place to live.
Okay, so finally somebody hired him and gave him a place to stay too. Took him a while to figure out where to work, but he didn't give up.
When Emmanuel wasn't serving drinks, He kept busy shining shoes. He earned money and sent it home. One morning, when Emmanuel went to buy shoe shining supplies, the shopkeeper thought he was there to beg and scolded him. Insulted, Emmanuel slammed his money down on the counter. The shopkeeper apologized, but Emmanuel would never forget.
What did actually happen?
I know.
When Mama Comfort grew sicker, Emmanuel went home to be with her. From her bed on Christmas Eve, she told her son, "Be respectful, take care of your family, don't ever beg, and don't give up." By the next morning, Emmanuel's beloved mother was dead. He was heartbroken, but he knew her last words had been a gift. He would honor them by showing everyone that being disabled does not mean being unable. It was a big dream, but Emmanuel had a plan.
So even though he was upset, very sad,
And
he
that
wanted
was
to
real.
do what he was going to do. He had a plan.
And that was a real
This
too.
is a real true story.
Emmanuel had a sharp mind, a bold heart, and one strong leg. All he needed was a bike. At first, no one would help. They thought his plan to bicycle around Ghana was impossible. Then Emmanuel wrote to the Challenged Athletes Foundation, all the way in San Diego, California. They sent him a bike, plus a helmet, shorts, socks, and gloves.
So he still didn't give up. He wanted to ride, so he figured out a way to do it.
Emmanuel started training for the long ride. He persuaded the king of his region to give him a royal blessing. He went door to door asking for additional support. Finally, he hired a taxi to follow him with drinking water, a camera, and his best friends. Then Emmanuel tied his right leg to the bike's frame, jammed his left foot into a flip-flop attached to the pedal, and rode.
Mhm.
There's no way you can write without a front. You'd have to.
Emmanuel pedaled through the bustling city of Accra. He pedaled through rainforests, over rolling hills, and across wide, muddy rivers. He pedaled past ogham forests and plantain farms and through the market city of Kumasi. He pedaled as trucks roared past on the narrow highways and wild animals stalked his thoughts. He pedaled through vast grasslands and into the ancient city of Tamale. He rode up, down, across, and around his country, proudly wearing the colors of its flag on a shirt printed with the words, "The Pozo," or the disabled person. Along the way, Emmanuel talked to those with physical challenges and those without, to poor farm workers and wealthy landowners, to religious leaders, government officials, and reporters. He wanted everyone to see him and his disability. He wanted everyone to hear him and his message. The farther Emmanuel rode, the more attention he got. Children cheered. Able-bodied adults ran or rode along with him. People with disabilities left their homes and came outside, some for the very first time. The young man, once thought of as cursed, was becoming a national hero.
Okay, so that's another one of our vocab words. Hero.
What?
A hero is a person who does something brave to help others. Would you say Emmanuel is being a hero?
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing something brave to show others that they can also do these things. Even though they have a disability, it doesn't mean that they have to sit and do nothing. They can be brave too. So he was being a hero.
He completed his astounding journey, pedaling south to the sea and back up to Accra, nearly 400 miles in just 10 days. But Emmanuel's success goes even further than that. He proved that one leg is enough to do great things, and one person is enough to change the world.
Okay? So look at how awesome that was. Now remember, I said it was biography. That means it was a true story. This really happened. He's a real person. And he was able to take this disability he had and say, I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to do great things. And he did great things, didn't he? And he's a hero to all the others to show them they can do great things too.